Good morning, Algebra 1. Today is Monday, April the 27th. This will be your last video for this school year, and it will be your last new concept. Today we are going to learn the quadratic formula. This goes with it goes with quarter 4, quiz 7. The quadratic formula is used to solve problems that do not factor. Everything we've done so far, you could break into parentheses and you could find answers that way. The first thing you need to do when you do these problems is you need to write the quadratic formula on your paper. It is right here. The formula, you read it, x equals negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This looks a little intimidating at first, but really it's just plugging in numbers. I put an example below, x squared plus 5x plus 4 equals 0. They always have to be set equal to 0, the problems you do, and they have to be in order. The square, the x, and the number. The first term with the square is always your a, the middle term with the x is always your b, the last number is always your c. The a, b, and c are the numbers that you put in this formula. You don't have to memorize this formula, but you just need to write it down every time that you do a problem. I'll show you exactly how this works. I'm only going to give you two examples. The first one is 4x squared minus 2x equals 1. 4x squared minus 2x equals 1. Now you can see right away that this problem is not set equal to 0. There's a 1 on the other side. So first thing we have to do, whether we're doing problems by factoring or the quadratic formula, is this has to move over. So I'm going to rewrite it. 4x squared minus 2x. That 1's coming across the equal sign. I'm going to subtract it over, so it's going to be a minus 1 now. Once you get it in this order, you can label them. The first one's a, the middle number's b, the last number's c. Now, it's really important that you know that the a, b, and c are just the numbers, not the x's. And the minuses that go with the numbers, they go with these a, b's, and c's also. So when I use my formula, I carefully fill it in. It's x equals, now remember what the formula is. I'll put it right here. It's negative b, so my b is a negative 2. So I put a positive 2 because it's negative b, so you have a negative and you put a negative 2 in there. Plus minus, square root. The next part of the formula says b squared. Well, b is negative 2 or minus 2. When you square it, it's going to be positive 4. This b squared is always going to be positive because you're squaring it. Minus 4, which is just part of the formula, ac. So it's 4 and a is 4 and c is minus 1. And all over means that the fraction bar extends the entire length of what's on top. So your fraction bar is over this 2a here. So when I do the 2a part, a is 4, so it's going to be 2 times 4, it's going to be 8. I have now put this a and this b and this c in this formula, which we're going to use every time. I'm going to set the formula down, and I'm going to simplify this. So I'm going to put an equal sign here. And it's going to be 2 plus or minus the square root. Here's our 4. I'm just going to write it. Then I have minus 4 times minus 1. You multiply all three of these numbers together every time. So this will be minus 16 times minus 1. It's going to be plus 16. Be really careful when you times these three numbers together. You have two minuses, that's why this is a plus 16. 4 times 1 is 16. And then on the bottom I have my 8. Now, My next step is to simplify it again. So I rewrite it. 2 plus minus 4 plus 16 is 20, so I have a square root of 20 here. And on the bottom I have my 8. Once you get to here, you're almost done. I am going to make this into decimal answers. Your quiz today has 7 questions on it. They're all these problems, and they're all going to have decimal answers. And they're all going to have 2 answers. But here's how you find them. So this plus minus means that there's 2 answers. There's a 2 plus square root of 20 divided by 8, and a 2 minus the square root of 20 divided by 8. So I'm going to write them as 2 answers now. First, I'm going to find the square root of 20 on my calculator. So on my calculator, I'm going to go square root of 20, 4.47, and they want 2 decimal places in your answers. So I'm going to write 2 plus 4.47 divided by 8, and 2 minus 4.47 divided by 8. I have a plus and I have a minus, and that's from this plus and minus. And your answers are separated by a comma. My final answers, I'm going to do 2 plus 4.47. I'm going to divide it by 8. And I'm going to get one answer. So 2 plus 4.47. Get my answer and divide it by 8. And I get 0.81. So one of my answers is 0.81. Remember, 2 decimal places. The other answer, I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm going to put a minus here. So on my calculator, I'm going to do 2 take away 4.47. 2 take away 4.47, get an answer, and I'm going to divide it by 8. And I get negative 0.31. And you're finished. The quadratic formula allows you to solve problems that don't factor. You could not break this into 2 parentheses. It would be prime. It would not work. The quadratic formula works for all problems, whether they factor or not. I'm going to give you one last example. Okay, the last example is 2x squared minus 7x equals 5. 2x squared minus 7x equals 5. Again, it's not set equal to 0, so you need to do that. It's set equal to 5. So I'm going to move the 5 across by subtracting, just like last problem. 2x squared minus 7x minus 5 equals 0. So your A, remember, is your first number, your B is your middle number, and your C is your last number. If it helps you, you can write them down. Sometimes I do that. So A is 2, B is negative 7, your middle number, and C is minus 5, your last number. If you write them down separately, that might help you solve the problem. And then remember, always for these problems today, you're going to use this formula. Just like I said, if you write it on top of your paper, it's very helpful. So I'm going to start plugging the numbers in. So my formula is x equals negative b, so it's going to be positive 7 because a minus and a minus, plus minus, square root, b squared, so I'm going to take that negative 7 and I'm going to square it. Remember, b squared is going to always be positive. So this is 49 minus 4, that's just part of the formula, times a, which is 2, times c, which is minus 5. All over, the bottom part of the formula is 2a, so a is 2. I can look at it from here or from where I wrote it down. A is 2. So 2a means it's going to be 2 times 2, it's going to be 4. Now it's just a matter of cleaning the problem up. So here I go. 7 plus minus my 49. And then remember how this works. I have two negatives again. I have a minus in the middle and I have a minus at the end. So this is going to be plus. And then I'm going to multiply 4 times 2 times 5. So 8 times 5 is 40. And then I put it over my 4. Remember, the fraction bar goes under the whole entire top, including the 7. So now I'm going to write it as 7 plus minus 49 plus 40 is 89. All over 4. I'm going to change the square root of 89 to a decimal, and I'm going to solve the problem. So on my calculator, I go second square root 89. And you can do this on your phone calculators or whatever. You don't have to get fancy. 2 decimal places. So for the square root of 89, I got 9.43. So I'm going to have 7 plus 9.43 divided by 4. And then my minus answer, 7 minus 9.43 divided by 4. So remember, plus and minus, plus and minus. Now I'm going to do the rest of the math, and my final answers are what you're going to find on your ALEX quiz in your choices. So I'm going to do 7 plus 9.43. 7 plus 9.43. That gives me 16.43, and I'm going to divide that answer by 4, and I get 4.11 when I round it off to 2 decimal places. 4.11. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do 7 minus 9.43. So 7 minus 9.43, and I get an answer. It's 7 minus 9.43. It's minus 2.43 divided by 4. I get negative 0.61. Now your answers aren't pretty because there are always going to be decimals for the problems today. 4.11 and negative 0.61 would be your 2 answers that you select on the choices on ALEX. Remember to set them equal to 0, and remember you're not going to factor these. You're going to use this formula for all problems. One more look at the formula. Make sure that you write it down first before you even start the problem. Thank you and have a good day.